Hello, this is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. This video is for Tim in New Jersey. Okay, Tim, this is your pump here. It's repaired. I replaced the motor, and the pump was in great shape, except that the motor was actually locked. It would spin halfway and then would just stop. So that's, bad. Now, my apologies again for the video like this, because I usually do much better ones, but I'm moving the workshop, so therefore these are the last pieces that I'm doing in this workshop. I'm going to move into another one, and therefore I have limited supplies here. So the pump is repaired, that's what's important. So I'm going to activate certain features to show you that everything is operational. Now we're going to start with a couple of plugs I have here. A couple of lines are blocked off. Now I'm going to start with the line that's currently connected. That's just the easiest. This line is either headrest or trunk release, a remote trunk release. So it depends on the model. If it's S320, then you would have a trunk release on that line. If it's because you have headrests that are electric. If it's S320, then headrests are not electric. There will be vacuum operated to go down. So then it's different purpose of this line. In this case, I believe it's S500, so that's a trunk release. So here's connection to my manometer, so you can see the vacuum it creates. So I'm going to put the power on. Actually, the power is already on. So let's just activate the trunk release. We'll start with that. Let me just connect these wires here. As you can see, the pressure went down. That's vacuum. Vacuum pressure, vacuum itself is very good. It's about 0.7. Specification is about 450. Is 0.45 is basically the minimum. If it goes lower, that's better. So pump is really healthy. Pump's really good. There's a lot of vacuum it creates. That's nice. So let's undo this pipe. So we're done with this one. It's going to be very tricky again. My apologies for this kind of video. You have to be really careful with these connections. Nipples break. When these things at the end break, the pump can be readapted, but you better not to break it. Now the next SFG. This line is for the actual retractable handle that comes out from the trunk lid when you open the trunk. So let's activate that. Now this thing does basically two operations. It creates pressure, so I have to push it to pressure, and then after it creates pressure, then it creates vacuum. So I have to move this lever over. So at first we're gonna have pressure, showing the pressure. As you can see, it worked both ways. Pressure is really high, this is really good, and the vacuum is within specifications, actually higher than spec, so that's good. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do one of these lines. There's one line to supply pressure for your lumbar support in seats or orthopedic seats if you have orthopedic function. Second one is vacuum for HVAC system and a vacuum storage tank. So let's see which one we're gonna do first. Now this is vacuum. The importance of this test is that you need to see if you loosen vacuum. If you loosen vacuum inside the pump, then motor will continue pumping until it'll continue creating vacuum until it burns itself. So in this department, vacuum is holding on fine. So there are no internal leaks inside the pump, and the motor is not running, so it's not going to burn because it holds vacuum. If there is a problem in the rest of the car, any vacuum lines, then the motor will continue cycling, and then eventually it will burn out. But in this case, it all checked out fine. There are no leaks inside the pump. So if you hear the motor constantly cycling for a long time, then there's a problem in the car itself. So that's why I wanted to make this test to show that there is nothing wrong with the pump. Let's try to undo this because there's vacuum in this line now. Again, you gotta be kind of gentle on these. You don't want to yank them. See, it's vacuum. Let's see if the vacuum leaks, the motor starts running right away. So, therefore, I just capped it. So it creates vacuum, it shuts down, and it stays shut off. Now we're gonna do the pressure. So I switched over my valve to the pressure setting, and then we're going to open this pipe. Now here is our pressure. We pump the pressure. This is for orthopedic seats, so lumbar support. Now it's another important thing, if you have leaks in there, then the pump will continue running and then it will burn the motor. So internally inside the pump, pressures are fine, there are no leaks there. As you can see, the pressure is even above specification, which is good, and no problems here. The needle stays. I already tested it, so I know there is no problem there. And I'm going to cap it again. There. Now this is going to be the most difficult test really, because there are 4 lines over there, so I'm gonna have to, I can only connect to one of them, and that's enough, because when you have pressure going, they work in pairs, 2 activate at once, and once you have 2 pipes create enough pressure, there is a valve inside the pump, it switches over to another 2. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to activate door locks now. Let's see which way I'm gonna do now. I'm probably gonna do, okay, first I'm gonna do the pressure. So the pump is running. I'm gonna block one pipe. See, it jumped. I gotta cap it, come on now. There. So the pressure jumped at about 0.45. It's supposed to change. As you can see, the needle stayed at around 0.55. That is good, and that's all because I couldn't cap the lines properly just with my finger. So that was pressure department. Let's go to vacuum department. As you can see, vacuum went up to 0.6, close to 0.6. Again, 450 is the spec, we have 0.6, so it's fine. And again, these are capped. As you can see, the pump isn't running, so everything is good. And this pump is ready to go. Everything shuts down, everything activates, no leaks, so it's good to go. And this is about it. I mean, again, my apologies for kind of shaky video, but this is the best I can do. This pump came from a 90. This is a 98 to 99 S-class. They're a little different from the rest because the manifolds are different, and it's also a CAN bus pump, so it actually communicates with other control modules. So it's a little different. It's also programmable. Oops. See, once you have a leak in the system, in this case, one supply line opened up because my plug came out, and right away it starts pumping to create pressure in this line. So if there is a problem in the line in the car somewhere, then the motor will continue running. It has a safety feature, but it has to run for quite a long time. So you do not really want this. The worst thing is a small leak. Small leak, the motor keeps cycling, and the safety feature doesn't kick in to deactivate the motor, so then the motor burns out. So that's bad. Okay, so this is it basically. Again, this is a 98 to 99 pumps. They're a little different, but concept internally and valves set, shut-off valves and micro switches and all that, it's pretty much same as pre-98, but they're not interchangeable because they're totally different. Ribbon is different and connectors are different, but the concept is exactly the same. And in this one there are more valves, so this is a little more complicated pump. Okay, well, this is Victor at restoremercedes.com. Thank you for watching.